It is only appropriate that we come here to unite and once again celebrate 20 amazing years of having this very convention. I believe that on its own deserves a round of applause. In the year 2010, on the 1st of April, Botswana became a state party to the convention, and we are very honored to be hosting this convention here in Botswana for the very beautiful first time. Thank you so much for joining us. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, it is not my part to speak on exactly what the convention is about, but I will allow Mr. Ernesto Otorn, the Assistant Director General of Culture for UNESCO, to come and give his remarks. May we welcome him to the stage.
Your Excellency, Dr. Masisi, dear President, Honorable Minister of Youth, Culture and Sport, Mr. Wakare, Minister here present, Ambassador Murad, our President and Chairperson, village elders, Excellency, it is a pleasure of the Inter-Governmental Committee for the Safeguarding of the Intangible Cultural Heritage here in Kasane, in the Republic of Botswana. We have come together to celebrate the incredible richness of humanity's intangible cultural heritage and to reaffirm its power for social cohesion, human dignity, and peace. To begin, I would like to express our sincere thanks to Botswana for their warm welcome and hospitality. And if you allow me, Mr. President, Doctor, in the name of the family of UNESCO, I have to say that we have never seen such implication from a president in the organization of an event. So thank you in the name of all of us. Really. What an unusual setting to hold an intergovernmental committee meeting in the wilderness, surrounded by the baobab trees bearing flowers, while we overlook the Kobe River, an outlook that provides us with a perfect environment for reflection. I would also like to thank our distinguished delegates, practitioners, researchers, and representatives from NGOs who have traveled from far away and are today with us. We are pleased to be joined online by living heritage bearers, experts, NGOs, and governments who will be following the session. Mesdames et Messieurs, cette session du comité se déroule sous le signe du 20e anniversaire de la Convention de 2003 et chaque point de l'agenda nous offrira l'occasion de réfléchir à tout ce qui a été accompli au cours de ces 20 dernières années et tout ce qu'il reste à faire. Nous aurons la chance plus tard dans la journée d'échanger davantage sur le passé, le présent et l'avenir de la Convention. En fait, ça sera demain, puisque un point spécifique de l'ordre du jour sera consacré à cet anniversaire qui sera suivi d'une célébration en plénière ainsi que d'une réception d'anniversaire offerte par le pays hôte cette semaine. Au fil des ans, l'UNESCO a mis en lumière des outils importants pour nous aider à construire un avenir meilleur fondé sur le dialogue, le respect et la dignité humaine. La reconnaissance et le partage des expériences de sauvegarde par le biais de la Convention de 2003 pour relever les défis auxquels nous sommes confrontés aujourd'hui est l'un de ces outils. Depuis son entrée en vigueur en 2006, la Convention de 2003 s'est rapidement développée dans le monde entier, défendant l'idée que la culture est un vaste ensemble de créations, d'expressions et de pratiques humaines qui reflètent un ensemble d'expériences et de connaissances développées à travers les générations. En élargissant la définition du patrimoine culturel pour y inclure le patrimoine vivant, la communauté internationale a ouvert de nouveaux horizons, notamment liés au développement durable. Cette mosaïque d'expériences peut apporter des réponses concrètes à de nombreux défis cruciaux auxquels nous sommes confrontés aujourd'hui, en positionnant fermement la culture au moment où nous préparons nos objectifs après l'agenda 2030 pour le développement durable. Permítanme enmarcar nuestros debates en el contexto del creciente reconocimiento en la agenda mundial del papel integral de la cultura para el desarrollo sostenible, y en ese sentido la declaración ministerial de Mondiacult en septiembre en la Ciudad de México afirmó que la cultura es un bien público mundial, mientras que la declaración de los líderes del G20 en New Delhi abogó por la cultura como un motor transformador de los objetivos de desarrollo sostenible. Mirando hacia el futuro, el patrimonio vivo y la Convención de 2003 son fundamentales para hacer realidad esa visión. La presente sesión ha generado resultados tangibles, evidentes, tanto en el mecanismo de presentación de los informes periódicos como en las iniciativas de la Secretaría sobre las distintas áreas temáticas. Juntos, seguiremos capitalizando estos esfuerzos mediante la aplicación de la Convención, anclando firmemente la cultura en la agenda mundial. Ayer tuvimos la oportunidad de vivir parte de la riqueza del patrimonio cultural inmaterial de Botsuana durante nuestra ceremonia de apertura. Y mañana pasaremos al trabajo del comité. El orden del día incluye 23 puntos. El comité examinará una serie de candidaturas de la lista de convenciones, 55 para ser preciso, los informes periódicos y otros informes entregados por los Estados partes, así como las iniciativas temáticas de la Convención relativos al desarrollo sostenible. La agenda incluirá también un debate sobre la reflexión acerca de una aplicación más amplia del artículo 18 de la Convención, así como propuestas de enmiendas relacionadas con las directrices operativas. Este fue un proceso de 2 años que se inició en la 16ª sesión y que hoy día verá la luz. Por último, el comité elegirá a los nuevos miembros del órgano de evaluación. Se nos vienen arduas jornadas de trabajo, pero para terminar quiero decirles que es no solo un honor poder estar acá en Botsuana, que es la 8ª vez que estamos en África celebrando una convención, sino poder juntar al mundo entero para poner en valor las comunidades, lo que ellos representan y el respeto que les debemos a estas comunidades que nos mantienen vivos nuestras identidades. Muchas gracias, señor presidente. Muchas gracias, ministro.
Thank you, Mr. Otorne. Allow me to take this opportunity, ladies and gentlemen, to share something very, very special with you. As Botswana, we pride ourselves in our culture and everything that brings out the best of us, especially to entertain guests from here and far. Well, right now, I would like to share this tidbit of information with you that Botswana has inscribed 3 elements as part of the intangible cultural heritage. And I would like to share those with you. In 2012, we recorded, or inscribed rather, earthenware potter making skills by Botswana's Gauteng district. That's the first one. And then in 2017, we inscribed Dikopelo folk music of Bakatla Bakafela. That is in the Gauteng district as well. But right now, we are going to be exposing you to one of the elements that in the year 2019, Seberu folk dance and associated practices. Right now, just to give you an experience, a little bit of a gesture of kindness and to welcome you in song and dance. Welcome, Seberu Association. Thank you to the Siperu Association for that beautiful presentation today. Truly exciting what culture can do, uniting nations as is the norm. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as we commence with our program today, allow me to invite His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Botswana, Dr. Mokgweetsi Eric Masisi, to give us the keynote address. May we rise.
Thank you. Kindly take your seats. The Director of Ceremonies, the Honourable Minister of Gender, Youth, Sport and Culture, and also Member of Parliament for Mokgweetsi and your dear wife, Honourable Ministers here present and Assistant Ministers, UNESCO's Assistant Director General, Mr. Ernesto Otoni, the Chairperson of the 18th session of the Inter-Governmental Committee for the Safeguarding of the Intangible Culture Heritage, and also Botswana's Ambassador to the Republic of France and Permanent Representative to UNESCO, Chairman of the ICH, Ambassador Mustaq Murad. Distinguished members of the Inter-Governmental Committee on Intangible Cultural Heritage, ICH, representatives of state parties of the 2003 Convention for the Safeguarding of the Intangible Cultural Heritage, the Dean of the Diplomatic Corps, Her Excellency Dr. Beatrice Antonio Manuel Moraes, and members of the Diplomatic Corps here present, heads of international organizations, members of media fraternity, council chairmen and honorable councillors, the Khosi, entertainers, and members of the media, distinguished guests, a very good morning. Bon dia. Let me at the outset express my sincere appreciation to all of you for having honored the invitation to attend the 18.com. Let me also take this time to thank you for joining us online, for those online all over the world. On behalf of Botswana, the people of Botswana, I wish to express our profound gratitude to be participating in the 18th session of the Inter-Governmental Committee for the Safeguarding of the Intangible Cultural Heritage, popularly called 18.com for short. This is truly a global event that recognizes and celebrates the achievements and expressions of the intangible cultural heritage. Today, indeed, marks yet another high point in the history of the relationship between Botswana and UNESCO, Mr. Assistant Director General. I am equally grateful that by selecting Botswana, you made us the 8th African country to host the Intangible Cultural Heritage, ICH. This demonstrates Africa's commitment to UNESCO and the 2003 Convention. We are also grateful that Africa is one of UNESCO's global priority areas. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Botswana joined UNESCO in 1980 and has remained a loyal and very supportive member in the realization of the organization's global mission for human development. And I pledge to you, we will always be loyal. Botswana has remained fully engaged in the implementation of the 2003 Convention. Our national policy on culture recognizes the importance of intangible cultural heritage, and we hope that by hosting this 18th session of the ICH, we demonstrate the importance of ICH, and its safeguarding and transmission of living heritage, so much cherished by we, the people of this republic. The 2003 Convention considers communities as the drivers of the Convention, and it is the communities that decide those cultural practices and norms that are important to them and in need of safeguarding for future generations. This, dear guests, is completely aligned with my government's approach to development, which is people-centered. Distinguished delegates, we're greatly indebted to our forebearers who built this country based on the strong traditional foundations such as our Kgotla system, which is the basis of our celebrated and very visible, feelable democracy. The Kgotla system recognizes the importance of our traditional leaders, which allows us, the community, to come together to discuss matters of mutual interest to our welfare openly and freely. It is at the Kgotla that the Setswana saying or adage goes, "Mua lebe o bua la gagwe," loosely translated to mean everyone has a right to voice his or her opinion, which we hold sacrosanct in the Kgotla. This, as mentioned, is using culture as a foundation of our democracy. It has to be acknowledged that every one of us gathered here holds dear as certain elements of intangible culture, otherwise also anthropologically and sociologically called non-material culture. Intangible culture forms a part of the core of our social identity markers. We are, for example, quite essentially cultural beings, beginning with the use of language as a basis of our human consciousness and self-awareness, and as a tool and means of communication within complex networks of social relations and activities. Language is also a means through which we represent and interpret our sense of reality by a variety of traditions, interrelated concepts, metaphors, analogies, narratives, ways of thinking, and knowledge systems. It is also a means of cultural development, cultural transmission, preservation, and transformation. In short, without language, we cannot develop, nor learn, nor share and transmit culture. We will be reduced to animalistic existence otherwise. Through language and culture, coupled with our versatility to make, hold, and manipulate objects and deploy them as tools of labor, we are capable of acting beyond the predispositions and limitations of genetic coding. Accordingly, the mandate of UNESCO to safeguard and preserve intangible cultural heritage is a permanent reminder of the necessity to recognize and to celebrate humanity's infinite, diverse, and intriguing cultural capacities and creations that sustain lives and gives meaning to life. This also enables humans to develop resilience in their strength, the challenges and problems that they continually encounter in their social existence. However, it is important to have regard for safeguarding and protecting cultural practices that enhance human dignity rather than dehumanize, oppress, exploit, and destroy fellow human beings. Furthermore, another consideration in the implementation of Convention 2003 ought to be the impact of such intangible cultural practices in promoting awareness and enthusiasm to preserve biodiversity. We also need to be mindful of balancing the interests of human survival and flourishing with the interests of ensuring planetary health as part of climate change adaptations and mitigation initiatives. Their decision to host 18.com in Kasane was deliberate because it provides us with an opportunity to show how biodiversity can thrive. Botswana, as you may have heard, is home to over 150,000 elephants in the wild, half of which can be found less than 10 kilometers away from here in the majestic Chobe National Park, the home and location to the perennial example of romance and eternal love, as was expressed in the 70s, repeated when Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton came all the way to Chobe National Park to marry, serenaded by a troop of elephants on the one hand and lionesses as bridesmaids on the other. So if you're truly in love and you want to make it ecologically friendly, call us. We'll give you a marriage location. This conservation success story is as a result of several factors all coming together. That is political will, effective law enforcement, community involvement, and regional cooperation. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in order to promote a wider awareness of the 2003 Convention, over 250 individuals, including community leaders, government officials, non-governmental organizations, practitioners, media personnel, community researchers, have been trained on this convention in Botswana. To date, Botswana also boasts 4 UNESCO-accredited intangible cultural heritage facilitators that support the strengthening of capacities for safeguarding intangible cultural heritage. All of this work in progress, and Botswana will continue to do more in this regard, not only to support its communities in safeguarding their cultures, but also by working with other countries and nations, near and far, to also achieve this objective through the UNESCO platform as a member of the UNESCO family. In addition to training personnel to have capacity for implementing Convention 2003, Botswana has thus far been able to successfully inscribe 3 elements that now form part of the UNESCO list needing urgent safeguarding. These are earthenware pottery making skills and the Dikopelo folk music of Bakatla, Bakafela, which were inscribed in 2012 and 2017 respectively. The third element being the Speru folk dance and associated practices from the Chobe district, which you just witnessed, in which today's meeting is located, was inscribed also under UNESCO urgent safeguarding listing in 2019. It is therefore not by chance that we are in Kasane today, but that we are in the right place to celebrate with the local community the listing of one of their most sacred dances and associated practices. As a matter of fact, the Seperu folk dance commands great following during the National Arts Festival in Botswana. Distinguished delegates, let me also acknowledge the fact that following the work Botswana has been doing regarding the 2003 Convention, we've been receiving technical support and in some cases financial assistance from UNESCO. In this regard, in 2016-2017, the Bakatla communities, following the successful inscription of their element, received $68,261.10 US for the implementation of the safeguarding plan for the earthenware pottery making skills of the Bakatla Bakafel. The project had 4 phases, being research, capacity building, production of educational materials, and an exhibition. New cultural spaces or resource areas were identified in Mudipane and Matubudukwane. These are villages in Katling, the area where the inscription is from, 12 living human treasures were discovered. 17 young people were trained in pottery making, and booklets and videos have been produced for educational purposes. UNESCO has also to date supported the safeguarding of the Seperu with $94,447, which is approximately 1.274 million pula. The safeguarding plan for this Seperu element includes establishing school clubs, conducting coaching clinics, research and documentation of the element, and to promote the use of mushishi, as well as formation of the village ICH committees. In all these cases, international technical support is always provided to capacitate our teams at local level, and for this we are truly, eternally grateful to UNESCO and its network of partners. Ladies and gentlemen, as I draw to a conclusion, I wish to affirm emphatically that Botswana stands ready to continue working with the community of nations through UNESCO to deliver on the intangible cultural heritage of humanity for generations to come. We are fully aware that in doing so, we stand to benefit immensely through saving our own cultures, as varied in ethnicity, language, and tradition, but united in our sovereign commitment and national patriotism as we are. Of course, while Botswana is by no means a homogeneous society, as a nation state, we identify as one unitary political formation enriched by cultural diversity with certain overarching values and principles of our nationhood. This is what has defined us as a nation for centuries, and we will remain so because we subscribe and adhere to the ethos of multiculturalism. Last but not least, I once again express our heartiest welcome to all of you to Botswana, our beautiful country. I wish you fruitful deliberations and a pleasant stay. For those of you wanting to stay after the meeting, you are most welcome, and I hope our hospitality will further tempt you to come back in the future and explore not just our culture, but our culinary delights as you sink your teeth gently and with deliberate intention to taste every sinew, every bit of our delectable beef, the best in the world. I thank you for your attention, and good morning.
Ladies and gentlemen, kindly take your seats. After His Excellency has given his remarks and his keynote address, it is my pleasure and my privilege right now to invite our pinnacle of the afternoon. We are going to be enjoying or exposing you to one other cultural aspect. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce Matsosa Ngwao Cultural Group. Ladies and gentlemen, Matosangwao Cultural Group. Thank you for sharing some joy with us through the art of music. We have come to the end of this session, ladies and gentlemen, but I would like to say thank you so much for joining us today. Before we depart here, allow me to just say that we are going to be ushering out His Excellency the President. So if we may rise up and usher him out. Kindly take your seats. Final announcements for the day. For those of us who didn't get our goodie bags, please be informed that you will receive one on your way out, where it contains a water bottle, which you will use in order for you to get hydrated. I do encourage you to stay hydrated. You have experienced the heat, or rather the warmth. You've experienced that, so let's keep hydrated. There are water fountains to my left and to my right, and the ablutions, as I advised, are behind the marquee. With that said, ladies, it was a pleasure to host you. Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's after
Freshest water you can imagine, trickling down, traveling over 1,000 kilometers, and when it gets into the Botswana, it drains into a delta. And when it spans out into waters and quenches the thirst of the mighty Kalahari Desert. And when that happens, you get the most diverse, exotic, aquatic species in the desert. And the flora and fauna that emerges from there, it's almost as if God in the book of Genesis left yesterday. So it's beautiful, beyond measure. And there you can be in the midst of all this and feel truly the African regal presence.
Ladies and gentlemen, final announcement, I promise it's my last one. Please place your headsets and receivers on the table. Kindly for the rest of the event. Thank you so much.
Some of the most progressive conservation policies. This has resulted in us being home to the 1,000th World Heritage Site, the Inter-Governmental Delta. It originates from the highlands of Angola, and fresh water, the freshest water you can imagine, trickling down, traveling over 1,000 kilometers, and when it gets into Botswana, it drains into a delta. And when it spans out into waters and quenches the thirst of the mighty Kalahari Desert. And when that happens, you get the most diverse, exotic, aquatic species in the desert. And the flora and fauna that emerges from there, it's almost as if God in the book of Genesis left yesterday. It's beautiful, beyond measure. And there you can be in the midst of all this and feel truly the African regal presence. So come to my country and I'll take you on a tour.
Right, we have just witnessed the opening of the 18th session of the Inter-Governmental Committee for the Safeguarding of the Intangible Cultural Heritage, where we saw we're actually 72 state parties of the Inter-Governmental Committee in attendance out there, and as we can see, it has come to an end. And of course, Bethany Mando is on standby, ready to wind for us and tell us what exactly was said at the opening this morning. And of course, we do know that it's very important. You know, cultural heritage is very important to us because it gives us a sense of identity, and it helps individuals feel part and parcel of a community and a society, which is very important. Hence why it is very important to that is why it is very important to safeguard these intangible cultures that we do have. And Botswana is quite rich in culture, as we have just seen beautiful performances out there, out in Kasane, where we did see the Seperu Association giving us the Seperu folk dance. Oh, what a beautiful performance we did see out there. Very unique, if I may say, as well, from the way that they dressed to the movement and the rhythm of the dance. And of course, we just saw the Matsosa Wow cultural group. Oh my goodness, Botswana truly is rich in culture, and we did have, or rather we did hear His Excellency the President of the Republic of Botswana addressing us, or giving a keynote address at the opening of the 18th session of the Inter-Governmental Committee for the Safeguarding of the Intangible Cultural Heritage. And Botswana, of course, joined the Inter-Governmental Committee in 2010, and it is hosting the 18th session for the very first time this year. Right about now, we are going to hear from Bethany Mando. Bethany, a very good morning, and tell us about the proceedings of the opening of the 18th session of the Inter-Governmental Committee for the Safeguarding of the Intangible Cultural Heritage.
Mo nako gompieko taotsona Dr. Mokgweetsi Masisi o sa tswa go bula semmuso yene phutego ya the intangible cultural heritage le gore tshegeditse jalo mo motseng wa Kasane jalo sengwe se le re mothakare o se buile thata bona ka gompieko ne le jone botlhokwa ja gore le ha tshelene mo nako gompieko le bele hosta yone this convention a ka re tokole ha tsela Botswana le simolotse jalo go nna le loko la yone UNESCO ya le ka ngwaga wa 1980 mme go tsena mona ka gompieko ba ntse ba tshegeditse le go nna le loko mme se le re se a kgatlhisa go tsama ke go itse gore ba thopile lone le hilo la Kasane jalo ka gore go lebile gore nngwe ya motho ka re le tlotlo go tsama tlotlo a ngwao a hitelo jalo mo kgalong yone ya Chobe ile yone ya Seperu ba le gore ba ne ba diragatsa mo tsela gompieko re seo ke go le ka go supa motho ka re the diversity of the culture ile gore le ha tsela Botswana le na le yone jalo mme ho tlhalose jalo a itebagantse tata le gore kana go bola ha tsela Botswana le ha toga motho ka re the 8th country to host this inaugural convention jalo go supa jalo gore le ha tsela Botswana le tsatsiya go le kahe motho ka re yone tshomarelo tota one matlotlo a ngwao kgotsa the cultural practices tse re di hitela jalo mo le hatseng leno.
The President, Dr. Mokgweetsi Masisi, officially opened the 18th session of the Inter-Governmental Committee for the Safeguarding of the Intangible Cultural Heritage, which took place at the Cresta Moana Resort in Kasane. The committee is expected to examine the nominations for inscription of 55 cultural practices submitted by 72 state parties, reaffirm the role of intangible cultural heritage for an inclusive social, economic and environmental development, as well as reflect on the broader implementation of Article 18 of 2005 Convention. The Department of Broadcasting Services will this evening commission Studio 4 at Mass Media Complex. The expansion of BTV is expected to accelerate the creative industry in the country and to bring rise to upcoming creatives. At the same event, Botswana Television will also be celebrating its first anniversary since launching the breakaway channels. President Masisi and American media personality Steve Harvey, who has been contracted to help Botswana's production to reach global standards, are expected to attend. Speaking at the closure of the 3 days Botswana Travel and Tourism Expo, Minister of Youth, Gender, Sport and Culture, Mr. Dumiso Rakgare, said his ministry will jointly work with Botswana Tourism Organization alongside the Ministry of Environment and Tourism to avail and uncover more cultural activities and opportunities that will aid in the development of a cultural tourism product in the country. University of Botswana Vice-Chancellor Professor David Norris says the university has decided to engage with leaders and Botswana in general in addressing challenges facing the nation. Professor Norris said this at the university's business breakfast seminar attended by district leaders and the business community in Mihlakani. And in the world of sports, BDF 11 beat Tafik with a goal to 0 in the Botswana Premier League match that was played at Francistown Council. Matabele's goal came through Mbonisi Ncube in the 44th minute. All right, that's it on our news in brief for this very hour. And of course, we have just witnessed the opening of the 18th session of the Inter-Governmental Committee for the Safeguarding of the Intangible Cultural Heritage, where we did see our president, the president of Botswana, Dr. Mokgweetsi Masisi, give a keynote address. And of course, we will be looking out for more that will be happening out there.
The L'Oréal Foundation is awarding and celebrating women in science for the last 25 years. The reason